Hi friends, this is Unit 1, Lesson 16 for second grade math. We have learned about a few different types of word problems. Today's lesson is combining all those word problems and mixing them up and seeing if you can solve them. So let's get started. Let's start with our directions. Our directions say to make a drawing, write an equation, and of course, solve the problem. Today we are going to continue using our cubes strategy, where we start by circling the numbers and the label, underlining our question, boxing any clue, math words, and then we get to solve and check our work. All right, let's get started. So it says Erica has 13 colored pencils. She has 8 at home and some at school. How many are at school? So I'm going to start by annotating my word problem. So I see 13 and I see 8. I see my question starts with how many are at school. Now, sometimes my label is right after how many. This time, our label is not right after how many because are is not a label. So I'm going to go back into my story problem and I'm going to see if I can figure out what my label is. What are we talking about in this problem? Why don't you take a look? If you go back to the first sentence, it says Erica has 13 color pencils. So right here, this is our label. All right, so why don't we go ahead and write that down here. Oops, not colored, color pencils. Okay, now I'm going to box any of my clue math words. So I already boxed my my numbers. I see the word home. I'm going to box that because that's telling me that there are 8 at home, which means that's one of my partners, and some at school. So I know one of my partners, and here I'm missing one of my partners. So why don't you pause the video and write down what equation you could use to solve this problem. There are 2 equations you can use since you are missing a partner. When you're missing a partner, you can write an adding equation or you can write a subtraction equation. I'm going to start by reading my story problem and writing it as I read it. So I know that she has 13 colored pencils. I know that some are at home, 8 of them are at home. And I'm trying to figure out how many are at school. So I can either solve it by doing subtraction, or I can solve it by writing an adding problem and counting on. So I have 8 plus something equals 13. So either way I can solve this. If I wanted to do my subtraction, I could draw 13 circles and cross off 8 of them. That tells me I'm left over with 5. Or I can write an 8 and draw circles and count up to 13. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I can count my circles right here, and I can also get a 5. So either way, you're going to get 5 color pencils that are at school. You need to make sure that you have an equation and you have a matching drawing to go with it. If you did a math mountain, this is what your math mountain would look like. Or you can switch your 2 partners. Okay, let's keep going. Let's look at number 2. So number 2 says, Joan has 15 toy guitars. Delia has 7 toy guitars. How many fewer toy guitars does Delia have than Joan? So friends, for this problem, we are actually going to use our comparison bars. Now let's talk about why. So comparison bars are used when you are comparing two numbers. Comparison bars are usually used in problems that have two people. So here's Joan and here's Delia. Okay, so that's one way you can tell. The other way you can tell is that if you see the word fewer or more, that is when you're going to want to use comparison bars. So since I see two people and they both have things and the words fewer or more, that means that I'm going to do comparison bars. So comparison bars act as your picture. So remember when it says make a drawing, this is your drawing. So let's get our comparison bars ready. If you need to pause the video, please do so. So now I'm going to label my comparison bars. So what that means is I'm going to decide who has more and put the letter of the initial of their name on top, and who has less and put their initial on the bottom. So if I go back to my story problem, I see that Joan has 15 and Delia has 7. I know that 15 is more than 7, so that tells me that Joan has more. So I'm going to put a J on top and a D underneath. Now, let's put our numbers in. So I have the number 15, okay? I know that I'm looking for how many fewer or less does Delia have than Joan. If I look at my label, I look right after how many, and I see 3 important words: fewer, toy, guitars. Yes, you must include fewer in your label. Fewer toy guitars. I'm going to write that right now. Okay. Now, how do I figure out where 15 and 7 goes? Well, I know that 15 is bigger than 7, but that's not a reason to put it up here in Joan's box. What goes in each rectangle is the exact amount that that person has. So if I look at Joan, I know that she has exactly 15 toy cars. So that number is going to go up here. If I look at the next sentence, Delia has 7 toy guitars. That tells me that Delia has exactly 7 toy cars, or guitars, excuse me. So that 7 goes here. Anything that goes in the rectangle is exactly how much that person has. So here is my missing number, my oval. And this is just like a math mountain. So if I'm missing a partner, similar to what we did here, I have 2 equations. So I can do 15 minus 7 equals box, or I can do my counting on of 7 plus box equals 15. So right now what I want to do is pause the video and solve this problem. All right, friends, you should have gotten 8, whether you solved your subtraction problem or your addition problem. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Or I could draw 15 circles. Now this is only if you need to, because you've already drawn your picture. And I could cross off 7 right here. Either way, I'm going to get 8. All right, let's keep going. So number 3 says Ed has 14 puppets. He gives some to his brother. Now Ed has 5 puppets left. How many puppets does Ed give to his brother? So I would like you to pause the video right now, and I would like you to solve this problem either using a subtraction equation or an adding up equation. See what you can come up with. All right, so I see 14 right here. I see 5 right there. My question is, how many puppets does Ed give to his brother? If I look right after how many, I see the word puppets, which is my label. Okay. Now I'm going to box any clue words. I see some. I also see gives. I should have put that in one rectangle. And I see the word left. So I know 5 is left. That's how many is left over. And I know he starts with 14. So now I'm going to get my equation ready. I have 14. He's giving some. So that means I'm going to subtract a box. And I know he has 5 left over. Now, I personally do not like solving problems like this. So I am going to switch my partners. So I'm going to change it to 14 minus 5 equals box. And if you would prefer to solve an adding up equation, you could also switch it to 5 plus box equals 14. Either way, you can solve this problem. 5, count on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Or I could draw 14 circles and cross off 5. And either way, I am left with 9. All right, moving on. You guys are doing great. Let's keep going. Number 4, Yolanda has a box of tennis balls. Alvin takes 7 of them. Now Yolanda has 5 left. How many tennis balls does Yolanda have in the beginning? So for this problem, let's start off by, I do see 2 names. So I have 2 people. So are we going to do comparison bars here? No, we are not, because we don't see the words more or fewer. So you have to have 2 people that have things and the words more or fewer. So since we don't have more or fewer, this is just a normal solving word problem. So let's go ahead and use our cube strategy to understand this problem a little better. So I see 7. I see 5. Here is my question. I have how many tennis balls? I'm going to look for any clue words. So I see the word left. I see the word takes. So that's kind of like giving away. I see the words in the beginning. I'm trying to figure out how many did she have in the beginning. So my first thing in my equation is going to be a box. That is what I'm trying to figure out. So I know she has a box of tennis balls, but I do not know how many are in there. I know that Alvin is taking 7. So that's going to give me a minus 7. And then I know that Yolanda has 5 left. Well, if you remember from our lessons maybe last week, do we ever solve problems that look like this? No. We always, when we have an unknown start with subtraction, we always turn it into addition. So this is my total. These are my partners. I'm going to take my partners and add them together to get my answer. So now I have 7. I draw 5 circles and I can count on to see what I get. So here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that Yolanda started with 12 tennis balls. All right, friends, go ahead and turn your paper over. We have the same instructions for this page: make a drawing, write an equation, solve the problem. You are going to work on number 5 and number 6 on your own. I'm going to read them to you and kind of get you started, and then I'll let you finish both of them. So on number 5, it says, Mina has 6 cherries. Anika gives her some more cherries. Mina has 13 cherries now. How many cherries did Anika give Mina? So in this problem, we do see 2 people. We also see the word more. But this is actually not a comparison bar problem because the only person that has the cherries is Mina. So Anika's giving Mina more cherries. So we're not trying to see how many Anika has or how many more she has or how many fewer she has. We just want to figure out how many did Anika give Mina. So this is a normal solving word problem that you're going to do on your own. Don't start it quite yet. Let's look at number 6. Number 6 says Shane has 16 stamps. Dan has 7 fewer stamps than Shane. How many stamps does Dan have? Now, this problem, I see 2 names. I also see the word fewer. So is this a comparison bar problem? Yes, this is a comparison bar problem. Now, let's talk about why. Why is it a comparison bar problem? So the fact that Shane has some stamps and we know Dan has some amount of stamps, that is why it is a comparison bar problem. So I'm going to draw my comparison bars. But now I want you to pause the video and I want you to solve numbers 5 and number 6. All right, so let's see how you guys did. So on number 5, I see the number 6 and I see the number 13. I underline my question of how many cherries does Anika give Mina. I see the word cherries right after how many, so that tells me that is my label. And now I'm going to write my equation. So I see, I didn't box any clue words. First, I'm going to box my clue words. I know that Anika is giving some more. So I know that Mina is getting more, some more. So when I write my equation, I have the number 6. I know she's getting some more, but I don't know how many. And now she has 13. So if I wanted to solve this equation, I would write my 6 and I would add on to 6 as I count to 13. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Or I could take this and I could turn it into subtraction. So I could start with my total, 13, minus 6 equals an unknown. And this way I could draw 13 circles and cross off 6. Either way, I'm going to get an answer of 7. 7 cherries. All right, let's see how you've done your comparison bar. I know that we have Shane and Dan. And I know that the problem tells me that Dan has 7 fewer stamps than Shane. So that tells me that Dan has fewer, so his D goes on the bottom and Shane's S goes on the top. Yes, you must have this correct in order to get the right answer. So I know that there are 17 and 7. Those are my 2 numbers. My question is, how many stamps does Dan have? My label is right after how many, and it's just stamps. I'm going to see if there's any key words. So I see the word fewer. That's going to help us with our comparison bars. And that's pretty much all I have for keywords. So how do I figure out where my numbers go? The numbers that go in the rectangles are exactly what that person has. So if I look for Shane, do I know exactly how many he has? Yes, it tells me he has 16. So I put my 16 right there. Now I see the number 7. What does this 7 represent? Dan has 7 fewer stamps than Shane. Does Dan have 7 stamps? No. So we are not going to put the 7 right here in this rectangle. Any number that is attached to more or fewer, so 7 fewer, or if it said 7 more, that number always goes in the oval. So now I can put my question mark in the rectangle, and then I can get ready to solve this. This is just like a math mountain. So if I had this in my math mountain, I would be solving for a partner. So when I'm solving for a partner, I can either do an adding up equation, like 17 or 7 plus box equals 16, or if I'd rather, I can turn it into subtraction. So I'd write my 7, I'd count up to 16, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or I could draw 16 circles and I could cross off 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Either way, if I count these or count these, I'm going to get a 9. All right, last problem for this video. I know it's been a long one. So number 7 says, Lisha wants to put 15 apples in a bowl. She wants to use both green and red apples. How many of each could she use? Show 3 answers. So there are a lot of different combinations of apples that we can make. We know that she wants to put 15 apples in a bowl. So that is acting like my total. We know that she's going to have some green apples and some red apples. Now, it's important to note this number or this word right here, both. What does both mean? Both means that there is not going to be only red apples and there's not going to be only green apples. So I could not use this combination because that doesn't use both. And I would not use this combination because that does not use both. So you have to at least have one of each color. But obviously you're going to have more than one. So right now I want you to pause the video and make different combinations of red and green apples. So you're going to have something plus something equals 15. That's kind of like an equation that you're solving, but you get to choose the partners. So for example, you might have 8 green apples and 7 red apples. So now go ahead and pause the video and see what other combinations you can come up with. So some other combinations that I came up with, and this does not mean that you have to have them, would be 10 and 5 or 1 and 14. Those are some other combinations. You could also do 2 and 13, 3 and 12, 4 and 11. I did 5 and 10. You could do 6 and 9. You could do 7 and 8. And then you could switch all the numbers again. You could do 13 and 2, 12 and 3, 4, 11 and 4. So either way, there's so many different possibilities. You just need to make sure that your numbers that are in these 2 boxes equal 15 and there's no zeros. All right, great job today, friends. I will see you later in small groups. Bye.